Hey guys, so for the last 6 months, I've been doing what's called the Wim Hof Breathing Method in cold water exposure. Many of you who are watching this video may be a client of Recovery 101, either present or past, but what I want to share with you today is a little bit more instruction on exactly what that looks like. So if you're a new client with Recovery 101, I know that we've talked about the Wim Hof Breathing Method. I've even illustrated it, shown you some videos, but I want you to see this particular video because I think it might help to give you a better illustration of what it looks like physically. So what we're going to do is we're going to play out a 3-round Wim Hof breathing experience. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of commentation in the lower left and try to key in on some tips and techniques that might help you better do the Wim Hof breathing. And start.
Breathe in. Breathe out.
Okay, so doing your breath work, you're going to want to be in a comfortable place where you're not going to get interrupted. It doesn't have to be perfectly quiet, but a place where you're not going to get interrupted doing the breath work. Lying down, obviously, as you can see, is my preference, and you're going to hear different opinions on that, being that the majority of our lungs really do press closer to our back than to our chest. Some people say that sitting upright is the best way to do this. I happen to like the prone position. So the first round, let me talk about that. The first round is really clunky. It just doesn't always feel great. In fact, I would probably even say it kind of induces some anxiety and feels a little uncomfortable the first time around. But that's just the first round. The first round is about grounding and calming.
In, out, into the belly, into the chest, and let go.
So I'm just following the prompts is all I'm doing at this point. I'm breathing in through the nose, out through my mouth. I'm trying to diaphragmatically breathe, meaning I want to fill my diaphragm first. So as you notice, when I do my breath in, my belly, I'm actually sticking my belly out to start that breath so that the diaphragm fills and then the lungs.
In, out. In, out. Fully in.
Now I'm using the Wim Hof app because I like to vary how many breaths that I do before the breath hold, and it also allows me to do as many rounds of Wim Hof as I care to.
Amazing how it works.
Now we're getting ready to go into this first breath hold, and I wanted to illustrate what I'm actually thinking about when I'm in my breath hold.
After the exhalation,
now, obviously, I'm listening to Wim.
Disconnect the fueling of the thought processes, and we go into.
And really, it's a great way to keep my mind occupied rather than focusing on my sensation. I'm focusing on his voice.
It's all showing. It's all there. So
now, as you can see, I'm illustrating what I'm visualizing. I visualize a spotlight that starts at my toes and works all the way up to my head, and from my head all the way down to my toes. And I do that every breath hold. And that's just a preference that I have because it's a way of focusing my mind on something, again, other than the sensation of needing to breathe.
Keep on, man. It's nice. Great. Never force, just feel. Be without breathing.
Now, your first breath hold, I wouldn't expect it to be a minute and a half or anything close to that. What I would expect is probably 30 seconds, roughly, in your first time doing the Wim Hof breathing, which is very normal, 30 seconds.
Take a deep breath in.
So as you can see right there is where I took my breath in, I double tap my screen, and that starts the 15-second breath hold. So I'm going to take a deep breath in as much as I can. I might even scoop for a little bit more air, and I'll give you some pointers as to why I do that shortly.
Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe
now we're going into round 2. Round 2 is a little bit more comfortable for me because I've gotten that first round under my belt. My cadence is starting to get a little bit more, get my groove really. I'm getting in my groove and I'm feeling more grounded. So I'm really kind of relaxing into, even the breath itself becomes very meditative.
Into the belly, into the chest, and let go. Like a wave. Make it circular. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going.
Now, during this time, I want to share again that I'm very focused on the process of breathing, paying close attention to the inhalation and the exhalation. So when I'm breathing in, I'm very much conscious about how I'm breathing in. I'm not just randomly taking a big huff of a breath, but I'm trying to meticulously fill my diaphragm, the lower part of my lungs first, and then my chest, and then letting go and breathing in again. And it may seem trivial, but the more that I focus on my pattern, the better my experience.
And let go.
Into retention. Into disconnecting from this fast
All right,
pace.
so now we're going into the second breath hold.
Joining all these thoughts going on and on and on and on.
Now, one thing that I want to share is that it's normally in this second breath hold that I start to really notice the temperature in the room on my skin. Because I already know that at this point, adrenaline is starting to kick in. And I can tell that because my gut is starting to rumble a little bit. And that happens in the second round for me. Again, very natural, but I'm increasing and changing my physiology with this breathing and with the breath holds.
To me, the only way there is the way of the heart. Y la prueba única que vale es atravesar todo su largo. And the only thing that counts for me is to go all its way. Y por allí yo recorro, mirando, sin aliento. And there I go. Walking, going, breathless, in retention. This is according Don Juan Matus, an Indian, a native.
Now you can see that with this second breath hold that I've already passed a minute and a half. And you're going to notice that with every round that you do, you're going to get longer and longer breath holds. Why is that? Well, we're introducing more oxygen to the system, to the body with every round. And we're becoming alkaline. And when we're alkaline, the body doesn't have that same drive to gasp for air. It's the blood gases that cause you to feel like you need to breathe in. When the blood gases become very acidic, then that cue or trigger to take a deep breath comes in. So now what you noticed me doing there was taking that big breath in and then another gasp of I'm trying to create and get as much air into my lungs as I possibly can. And then when I press against that with my diaphragm, with my abs, there's a euphoria that happens. And once you perfect that euphoria gets more and more intense with more experience.
No pause between inhalation and exhalation. Breathe in.
Now, this third round is what I would consider my first round, because the first round is, like I mentioned, it's kind of grounding. It's getting acclimated to the whole process. The second round, I'm starting to feel my groove. I'm getting into my pace. And by the third round, I'm really in it. And I'm feeling the effects of the breath work.
Letting go. Just keep on going. No pause between inhalation and exhalation. Fully in and letting go.
I think what you'll find is that the optimum, and I did 3 rounds here for time's sake, but every day I try to get in 4 rounds plus. because of the fact that I mentioned earlier that the first round is clunky and grounding. The second round, I'm starting to get my groove. The third round to me is the first round. So if I'm doing rounds 3 and rounds 4, and both of those are very effective rounds for me, that's when I feel like I'm at my best. 4 rounds plus each day.
Breathe out. Just go with the flow of the breath. In, out. In, out. In, out. Fully in and letting go. Just keep on going. Into the belly.
All right, getting ready to go into that third hold.
Let go.
Have a great time. Retention.
Now, again, immediately as I go into that breath hold, I start to release as much angst as I can. If I'm feeling any apprehension about taking a breath in the third round, that's rare.
Our breathing. And be there and disconnect.
All right, so now we're in the third breath hold. This is a very comfortable space. It feels fantastic. The more that you do this breath work, the better that you get at it. So you gain mastery. But I also want to share with you that the more that you do this, the more effective it is. The more effective it is, because your body's recognizing what's happening, you're recognizing what's happening, and you can accentuate little aspects of this breath work all along the way to get the most out of your breath.
Pure yoga. Yoga is the silencing of the modifications of the thinking brain. Then the seer appears. Do you feel him? Are you the seer? Because that is a natural state of your mind, not the frenetic speed of daily life with all its thoughts and attachments. Just being your beautiful self, disconnected completely, and you are the alchemist. You are in control. And control over the mind is learning how to let go. Go with the flow.
And that's a huge part. Let go. How do you let go? And all of the things that I'm experiencing in this breath work have tangible ways that it shows up in my day-to-day living. So the idea that I'm not focused on the deep breath, so the idea that I'm not focusing on my desire to breathe, but I'm letting go of any thoughts, letting go of any apprehension, letting go of any ideas that I might have about how long I would hold my breath.
Consciousness is there. That is the high.
Take a deep breath in.
So you can see in this one, we almost got 2 minutes and 30-second breath hold, real close to that. You're going to find that as you go forward in time, your breath holds are going to increase. And that's great, but it's not necessarily what we're trying to do here. It's not about how long you can hold your breath, but more so about actually doing the breath work to change one's physiology. Remember, we're increasing noradrenaline by 500+%, and we're increasing dopamine by 250%. So it's important that we stay focused on why we're here. Breath work is about changing one's physiology, and this particular breathing technique definitely does that.
Or a good day and a good life.
All the love, all the power.